Welcome to Bright Basics, where we cover the basics on several topics, and today we're covering the basics of academic essay writing. The standard academic essay, also known as the hamburger essay, is probably the first essay that you learn at school, and it has three main parts: an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. The introduction is the top bun of your hamburger, and it includes a thesis statement. A thesis statement is one sentence at the end of your introduction that outlines your entire essay. Based on your thesis statement, you generate 3 body paragraphs that all follow the same format, which we'll talk about in more depth. And finally, you end with a conclusion. Now that we know that an essay has an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion, we can break it down even further. In your introduction, you're going to start with a hook, which is an opening statement, usually used to gain the reader's attention. Then you can add some context. Your context is your background information. It's the who, when, what, where, why, and how of your topic, so that the reader has some background on what you're going to be talking about. Then you have your thesis statement. Your thesis statement, as we mentioned, is one sentence at the end of your essay that discusses everything else you're going to be talking about in your essay, and it follows this format: TAP. Topic, argument or approach, and point. Your topic is your general topic that you're going to be discussing in your essay. Your argument or approach is what you're going to say about that topic, and your points support your argument or approach. Let's look at an example. Music is good for the brain because it improves memory, reduces anxiety, and boosts mood. Here, your topic is music. Your argument is that it's good for the brain, and your points are that it improves memory, reduces anxiety, and boosts mood. Every one of these points gets its own body paragraph, and every body paragraph follows the same format. You can use PEAL to remember that format: point, evidence, explanation, and link. You get your point from your thesis statement, as we agreed. Your evidence is proof for your point: facts, statistics, etc. We'll talk about that in more detail. Your explanation is how your evidence proves your point and how your point proves your thesis. And finally, your link connects to the next body paragraph. From there, you can end with your conclusion, which is like your introduction, but flipped. So you start with your thesis statement, reworded, then you summarize your body paragraphs, and then you unhook the reader. This is your closing statement. So the same way that you gained the reader's attention at the beginning of your essay, you want to kind of slowly trail them out of your essay at the end. Every essay needs a title as well, so don't forget to include your topic and your argument in your title. So for the case of this essay, we could say something like the benefits of music for the brain. Here my topic is music, and my argument is that it benefits the brain. We're going to dig into each one of these parts next. However, we have compiled this outline into an essay cheat sheet that you can use to outline your essays, and you can grab it below. Before you start writing your essay, it's best to start with your thesis statement, because as we agreed, your thesis statement is like a guideline for everything else that you're going to be discussing in your essay. So to have a thesis statement, you need 3 things: topic, argument, and points, as we agreed. Your topic is the main topic of your essay. This can be anything. In my case, it was music, but it can be sports, it could be science, it could be art, any general topic that you'd like to discuss. Your argument or approach is what you're going to say about that topic. Now, the reason I said argument or approach is because it could be an argument that you want to make. Like here I said music is good for the brain. That's an argument. Or I can say that music has several genres. For example, that's an approach. It's what I'm going to be discussing about music. So one of them is trying to prove a point and convince others, and the other is more of an explanatory thing, because there are many different types of essays. Some are argumentative and some are not as argumentative. Finally, you need a few points to support your argument, and those are going to be the main points that you're going to be talking about in your essay, the ones that get their own body paragraph. Now, in a standard essay, you usually just have 3 points, but as you develop your essay writing skills, you can have 4 points, you can have 5 points, you can have some points with some sub-points, and then each one of those sub-points gets their own body paragraph, and so on. Just a tip: try and match the order of the points in your thesis statement to the order of the paragraphs in your essay. This will help the reader really move through your essay in an organized way and keep the ideas clear in their mind. So let's do a quick thesis statement activity, and then we can head into an example of an introduction, a body paragraph, and a conclusion. I want you to try and build your own thesis statement using this outline. So start with a topic, any topic of your interest, develop an argument around it, maybe it's a strong opinion that you have, Try and find some points to support it and then put it all together in a thesis statement and write it in the comments. I will definitely try and review as many thesis statements as I can and provide my feedback as well. If you'd like, you can even download the thesis statement builder PDF. It looks something like this, and you can fill it in yourself and use it as a guide whenever you need to build a thesis statement. Now that we have our thesis statement, we're ready to write our introduction. An introduction has two main purposes. The first one is to gain the reader's attention so that they're hooked into your essay and they're actually reading. And the second is to provide a foundation for the reader so that they don't feel lost as they read through your essay. To do that, you're going to need three things: a hook, context, and a thesis statement. Your hook is the opening statement, and its purpose is to capture the reader's attention. This can be a question, it can be an interesting fact, it can be a statement, it can be anything as long as it's interesting and engages the attention of the reader. For my example about music being good for the brain, I'm going to use the hook, "Music is more than just notes and sounds." Here I've introduced my topic, but I've also let you know that I'm going to be taking music in a different direction. So when I say music is more than just notes and sounds, you might be thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean it's more than notes and sounds? No, that's what there is to music. So it's made you curious. And that's kind of the point of a hook. After I've gained the attention of the reader with my hook, I can then lay out my foundation. My foundation is my context, also known as my background information about the topic I'm going to be discussing. This is important because the reader might not know a lot about your topic. So you want to tell them just what they need to know before they start reading your essay so that they don't feel lost. You can use the 5 W's and the H to do this: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Let's look at an example. So for my essay, I said, dating back over 35,000 years, music is an integral aspect of human culture, tradition, and entertainment. Serving as a universal language, it offers us a medium for both expression and connection, strengthening our bond as a society. In addition to the positive impact music has on our society, recent studies have shown that music also has a positive impact on our minds. What I did here is two things. Number one, I gave background information generally about music, what it means to us as a society, its traditional uses, etc. And then I gave a little bit more about what recent studies have said about music, and I'm kind of edging into the argument that I'm going to make, which is that music is good for the brain. From there, all you need to do is add your thesis statement. So in my case, I'm going to say it has been proven that music is good for the brain because it improves memory, reduces anxiety, and boosts mood, among several other benefits. And there you have it. That's an introduction. Let's talk about body paragraphs. Body paragraphs are the meat of your essay, and they tend to surround one specific idea or point, usually taken from your thesis statement. They also tend to follow the same format, and you can use PEEL to remember that format: point, evidence, explanation, and link. Your point is the point that we said that we take from our thesis statement. So if my thesis statement is music is good for the brain because it improves memory, reduces anxiety, and boosts mood, then my first point for my first body paragraph would come from improves memory, which would be music has been shown to have a positive impact on memory. You basically take the point from your thesis statement and extend it into a full sentence so that it can introduce what your paragraph is going to be about. It's like a mini thesis statement for your paragraph. Next, you need evidence to support your point. Your evidence can be anything that supports your point. A quote, statistics, a fact. It all depends on the type of essay that you're writing. If you're writing a personal essay, it could be a story that supports your point. So your evidence basically supports your point. Let's look at an example. So I said, according to a study published in the journal Neuropsychology, listening to music activates the brain's hippocampus, a region responsible for memory formation and consolidation. So I said in my point that music has a positive impact on memory, and in my evidence I said that there's actually proof that that region in the brain gets activated, the memory region gets activated by music. From there, I need to provide an explanation for how my evidence proves my point and how my point proves my thesis, because that's the whole thing I'm trying to prove in the first place. So I can say, stimulating the hippocampus leads to enhanced memory functions, facilitating better memorization, quicker learning, and improves problem-solving abilities, among various other cognitive skills, effectively improving overall brain function. Basically, what I'm saying here is that if music is stimulating the hippocampus, which is known for memory function, that means that it's enhancing the memory functions. And if it's enhancing the memory functions, then it's probably enhancing my overall brain function. And if my overall brain function is improving, That means that music is good for the brain. From there, all I would need is a link to my next body paragraph, so I can say something like, yet the benefits of music for the mind don't stop there, which would allow me to go into my next body paragraph, which is how music reduces anxiety. And I would do the same thing for each body paragraph until I finish all of the points in my thesis statement. Once you're done with all of your body paragraphs, you're ready for your conclusion. And a conclusion has two main purposes. The first one is to summarize the main points that you discussed, and the second one is to create a sense of closure. So you need three things to do that: a repetition of your thesis statement, a summary of all of your key points, and an unhook. The same way that you hook the reader at the beginning and gain their attention, you need to unhook them at the end. Let's go through an example. So for the restatement of my thesis statement, I can say something like, in conclusion, recent research has proven that music improves memory, reduces anxiety, and boosts mood, making it beneficial for the mind. I basically took my thesis statement as it is, jigged it around a little, and added a concluding word. From there, I can summarize my body paragraphs. For this, I want the reader to get a good idea of what I generally said in my body paragraphs. A conclusion is meant to be repetitive, so don't worry about being too repetitive. Here's an example. Studies have shown that music can enhance memory by stimulating the hippocampus, reduce anxiety and stress by lowering cortisol levels, and boost mood by releasing dopamine. This makes it a vital addition to human health and psychological well-being, as well as its enduring role as a fundamental part of our society's culture, traditions, and entertainment. Here, not only did I summarize my key points, but I also started leading into my unhook by bringing us back full circle to what I first started discussing in my introduction, specifically about music's place in our society, which will lead to my unhook. And I say, music, therefore, is more than just notes and sounds. It's the key to a healthier, happier, and more harmonious existence. Basically saying that music holds a high position in our society, not only for entertainment, but also for health and happiness and connection and so many other things. And that's it. There you have it. That's your conclusion, and you've concluded your entire essay. From there, we need to talk a little bit about citations and formatting. Citations are a vital part of essay writing because it shows where you got the evidence to support the points that you've made in your essay, and it acknowledges that you borrowed information or ideas from other authors or publications. There are two parts to a citation. The first part is the complete citation. This one's usually found in a works cited list at the bottom of your essay, and it includes a few main things. It'll have the author's name, maybe the title of the article, a link, maybe the date that it was published or the date that it was accessed. You also have an in-text citation. This usually includes the author's name or maybe the name and the page, depending on the style guide, which we'll talk about in more detail. The in-text citation is found next to the specific piece of information that you took from the source within your essay. That way, readers can scan, find the name of the author, go down to the works cited list, and find the actual source where you got the information from. It basically helps the reader figure out which pieces of information you took from which sources within your essay. Now, the specific format for your citation, how it's actually written out, depends on the style guide that you're using. mybib.com is an amazing resource for generating citations using different style guides. Style guides are basically manuals that provide a set of rules for formatting your essay, and they have different rules for formatting your in-text citations, your citations, reference list, punctuation, capitalization, all kinds of things. And there are three main academic style guides that you might see: MLA, APA, and Chicago. MLA is used for the humanities mainly, like literature, philosophy, and language. APA is mainly used for the sciences like psychology, education, sociology, sciences and social sciences. And Chicago is used for the fine arts like business, law, and music. An essay formatted using the MLA style guide might look something like this. But it's always best to check with your instructor regarding their preferred style guide. And that's it. Once you've written and formatted your essay, you're ready to hand it in. Just make sure you edit it before you hand it in. Those were the basics of academic essay writing. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let us know what topics you'd like to see us cover next in the Bright Basics series, and I will see you next time.